under the brightest of lights. They love the pressure, and the tournament is where they thrive.
So Western Athletic Conference champions on a 20-match win streak. UT Arlington today snaps a 22-year drought in the NCAA tournament. The opening point, though, will fall to USC.
Perfect spot from Famuina, already finding that deep corner shot. Arlington not able to get on the ground. You at least want to show USC you are down to put a body on the ground.
Famuina was one of the individuals leading that dance party when they paraded into Gregory Gym yesterday as well as earlier today. Heading to the locker room, and the Mavericks strike back. It's hard to miss. Paige Rager, first team All-WAC this year, the 6'6" grad student in the middle.
Running your middle is what happens when you have a perfect serve receive. Finding Rager easily, getting those UT Arlington fans pumped up in the match.
She can touch 10 feet, 10.5 inches. She's a big part of the defense as well as the offense for UT Arlington. Famuina. Glenn with the set. A point apiece here in this opening frame as the Trojans will inch ahead. And it's Anyanwu in the middle. The freshman from right here in Texas, one of 5 Texans on this USC roster this year.
I met Anyanwu at the Under Armour All-America match, and she was so much fun to talk to, and she was so excited to be a Texan representing USC.
The serve from Verbeest. On the left side, able to find some fingertips. Famuina with the kill. Again, her head coach, Brad Keller, in his 5th year at the helm of USC. Look, he's had paychecks employed by both UCLA and USC, both sides of that historic Big Ten rivalry, right? Of course, back in the Pac-12 when he was at Westwood. A nice recovery there on the right side by Brianna Ford. And able to, again, get fingertips at the net. Famuina
moving the ball around. She already went deep corner. Now she's finding that cut shot. UT Arlington's really going to have to rely on that seam defensive read.
She was recruited as an opposite for this program, has developed into a very talented right side. That's given them some flexibility. As this ball will, they'll say in, that is close. Let's see if it's worth a challenge. They will stay with the call.
Brad Keller talked about how his team's gotten so much more elite blocking-wise, and you can see even if they're a little late to the block, they still time it right to where that ball shoots right in the court.
3 straight NCAA tournament appearances now for USC under Brad Keller. From the left side, sent over by Gunaiden for UT Arlington, and a vulnerable Hart in the midst of that defense beyond the diving effort of Samantha Glenn.
That roll shot is why UTA has to extend the rally, and you saw USC had a triple block up against the Mavericks. They have to find ways to get around the block and try and cover the hole in the court.
So after UT Arlington claimed the opening point, it's been 6 straight for USC. As we step aside here in Austin, it is round 1 of the 2024 NCAA Division I Volleyball Championship.
Hey, everyone loves a band, Lincoln.
3 Texas schools in this opening weekend here in Austin, and even USC bringing 5 Texas natives on their roster. And denial at the net, the block from Paige Rager. The pride of Frisco, Texas from the Metroplex, but it's now a 7-0 run for the 6th seed in this quadrant.
Famuina's that outside where if your block is not perfectly on the net, she's going to punish you. Mavs looked lined up. The issue was their hands were not crossing the plane.
I mean, Megan Verbeest is about to become a legal resident of that service line. UT Arlington struggling to find the side out. Not going to fare any better there with the big swing of the former Nebraska Cornhusker, Allie Batenhorst.
Batenhorst already getting the back row attack involved this early in the match. Watch where she lands. That's how much space she is taking up. Space turns to power behind her arm. You've got to make sure you're on the ground trying to get it up.
Finally coming out of that timeout, a couple points later, it's Shaki Donkers, the pride of the Netherlands, the freshman this year, 2nd team All-WAC, co-freshman of the year in that conference. able to put one away.
I like UTA ending USC's run with a back row attack as well. Donker showing that she has that power as well. She can hit those corners too.
And her head coach, JT Wenger, points out how valuable she is on that back row. Tuaninga with the set. And again, access denied on the right side from Brianna Ford, your player of the year in the WAC.
This block by Ford is what changes the momentum of a match. When you stuff USC's best outside, that gives your team the confidence and drive it needs to go on a run of your own.
Look, we were lazy. We mentioned David versus Goliath, but I don't think there are many teams who wanted to draw this UTA squad in the opening round. 20 straight victories, including dramatic comebacks in the Western Athletic Conference tournament in the semifinals and the final. Again, their head coach now in the 8th year of building this program, laid that foundation, your WAC Coach of the Year. And he has brought a very capable team of advancing on to tomorrow's matchup. They have scratched away a few more points here. Glenn not getting the contact she wants. And it's USC back on the board.
Yeah, earlier I said it was UTA's first time in the tournament. It's actually the first time under head coach JT Wegner, and he's done so much for this program. You can tell that he loves the game himself. A former player, has a great connection with the coaching world, and he's someone that these athletes learn from firsthand experience.
22 years ago, you meant first time in the lifetime of these players.
Okay, now I'm feeling really old and wrong, Lincoln.
Imagine how I feel when I was calling your matches.
I love it.
Mavericks back within 4.
JT Wegner said Ford is one of the hardest workers he's ever had. She is a student of the game, and she takes pride in her craft, and that includes serve receive. She's going to want to go on a service run as well here.
5-time WAC Player of the Week, 3-time first-team All-Conference we mentioned this year, the top player in the league. Over the right side with a little modest slide from Anyanwu. The answer from the Mavericks into the block. Nice recovery by Gunaiden. And looking for that roll off the palm. Couldn't find hardwood. And a nice rally developing here. Oh, big dig by Trubent for USC. One more to get it back. And it's the Mavericks with persistence now, back within 3.
That rally you just saw was not only the longest, but that was the game plan JT Wegner said we have to have, which is extend rallies as long as you can. Dig up those USC balls, and eventually you can make the ball drop on their side.
Serve from Ford out of Amarillo, Texas. And it hit the pin on the way over. Another point for UT Arlington, all the way back within 2. Boy, you come in, you fall behind like you did against USC, and a lot of other squads would just get steamrolled in set number 1, but the Mavericks are here to stay. A lot of that Brad Keller pointed to was just the maturity. How many seniors and grad students the Mavericks have this year.
Tuaninga is a force on her own, and JT Wegner said we have to watch out for this setter. She not only puts the ball perfectly in her hitter's windows, but she's offensive threat as well. She reads the play across the net and stays in to play.
She already knows she has a pro future. She was drafted by the Atlanta Vibe in the PVF. Glenn on the serve receive, a free ball. That one polished off by the middle of this USC defense, specifically Tyra Ariel.
Perfect response by Ariel. In volleyball, you're taught when you can start jumping over the net, you swipe the ball. If it's an overpass right to you, swipe left, swipe right. Do not put it in the middle of the court.
So the serve continues for Gala Trubent.
Nice pass.
And a dump. Sometimes just play smarter than the opponent. Molly Blank, your setter of the year in the Western Athletic Conference.
That was a perfect pass. A little tight, but Blank could have used any hitter she wanted to. But she's front row. This gives her the option to get the kill herself. She reads that the block breaks away from USC and goes for the hole.
So Gunaiden with the serve. Both her parents played professionally. Mentioned she's from Istanbul, Turkey. 2-point affair here in the opening set.
Donkers looking more comfortable with the big swings. UTA was doing a lot of rolls and tips in the middle of the court. After a few points getting under their belt, they're trying to bring in that power.
We saw the freshman on the back row excel and now making a mark at the net. USC's lead at 2. Glenn.
Great dig.
Donkers. 11-10.
Donkers was purposely trying to hit the block of USC. That's what you see the best of the best D1 hitters do. Starting with this amazing defense by UTA, but watch Donkers. She goes right for the fingertips. That leaves zero effort or room for the back row USC to get the touch.
And Gunaiden to serve, one of the great leaders for this mature program at UT Arlington. To joust goes to Tuaninga.
Keep in mind, Tuaninga is 5'9". She is not a 6'4" blocker like her teammates. She is on the smaller side, but she's a 5'1". That gives her the room to block, to jump, to tip, to get a kill, and you can see that she's really taking advantage of getting a vertical.
Her head coach, Brad Keller, is so proud of her. She has really matured into the setter that USC absolutely needed this year to navigate the Big Ten and return to their 40th NCAA tournament. A little battle of the net. We'll see if UT Arlington has something to say about that, or if they can win the point outright. For the moment, Tyra Ariel with the point.
UTA has to keep the ball off the net when Ariel is in the middle. She is so good at protecting the plane of the net. She doesn't let it come past her. You got to make sure the pass is a little bit off in this rotation. JT
Wenger finally content with what our second officials informed him about that battle at the net. And a service error, the first of the match for either team.
I think that's the highest top spin toss I've ever seen, at least the past few seasons. They don't usually go that high because it's so hard of timing, connection, and you can see it's pretty hard to get down.
Mia started her career in her own backyard of Long Beach State before making her way over to Southern California. Duran. Tuaninga able to find Ariel.
You can see Ariel taking off on her approach before Tuaninga even releases the ball. That just shows you the connection these two have. You see the hitter already in the air. That's because she trusts her setter and knows Tuaninga will put it perfectly where she needs it.
You see the knee brace for Ariel. She's had 2 ACL surgeries in her career. That time able to tool the block just enough. Donkers, the freshman.
USC doesn't need to block Donkers every time, but get a touch. Start to slow that ball down, which USC did. Now you need a more quality touch. Don't let it shank out.
What a fun start to round 1 between USC and UT Arlington. That one just inside the antenna, still playable. Famwina. They'll keep it on the right side, going with the kinder, gentler approach there. And then dialing it up, Brianna Ford.
USC still has the lead, but right now UTA is just playing in system. They're playing confident, and you can see they are putting the pressure on USC, not themselves.
Again, you see behind them how many folks made the trek to cheer on the Mavericks of UT Arlington. About a 3 to 3.5 hour commute. That time, no ma'am. Famwina with the defense.
Suffocating ISO block from Famwina, and that was perfect timing. That shows how much patience and discipline she has as a blocker. The fact that she did not have her middle with her and still stuffed it perfectly.
It's the most electric team that Brad Keller says he's had. Famwina, a big part of that. Serve here for the Dallas area native out of Plano, Ariel. Glenn. Or left side. And a confident Brianna Ford able to get UTA back on the board.
Ford is so good because she not only keeps an offset in play, but she can score. You see her with the jam, touching the USC block, still making it drop.
Speaking of Ford, USC's Leah Ford, second team all-conference this year, a game day decision. We have not seen her. There's a decent chance we will not hear today. This is on top of Jaden Livings for USC, one of their regulars being out, the freshman. So not a complete roster for USC of what they would like to have. 6 wins away from perhaps another national championship to take back to LA. Short pass, able to find Rager. Makes the most of that ball. Now to Ford. in the back row attack. A nail biter here in the first round, and it's now the slimmest of margins. USC clinging to a 1-point lead.
UTA putting up a triple block against the USC back row attack, and they didn't get the block, but they got the ball to slow down. That allowed them to get the dig and eventually get the kill. Right here, had 3 players, weren't able to block it, but still got a quality touch. Defense turning to offense.
The serve from Glenn will be short-lived. Trojans deny the Mavericks a chance to tie the match right there, as Anyanwu with another kill, the freshman. We'll see Gray Gosnell for the first time here in Austin. A nice serve. And she'll preserve it on the back row. Little back set to the right pin. Forward sending it over to the Trojans. And the response is it in or out? They'll say it's in right down the line by Batenhorst.
Batenhorst going for the line, and it was really close. That's a good shot. Even when you take the error, if it's close, that's eventually going to drop in. Your coach is not going to get mad at that.
Yeah, line judge was overruled. It is out. So UT Arlington, another chance to tie it here. And again, a little bit of breathing room, courtesy of Batenhorst, the 2-time national runner-up when she was in Lincoln, Nebraska. She too drafted by the PBF's Omaha Supernovas, a chance to return back to the Cornhusker State. Batenhorst this year becoming a 6th rotation player, something we didn't see much when she was playing for Coach Cook at Nebraska.
And to me, what makes Batenhorst the most impressive is her crazy touch, how high she gets in the air when contact is made, and it just makes the ball go straight down. She's not even having to reach over the block. She's already there.
We were tied 1 point apiece. It was a 7 or 8 point run for USC that gave them the advantage, prompted a timeout from UT Arlington. Mavericks close to erasing the deficit they have. 18 points apiece here in set 1.
That block might be one of the most impressive from the Mavericks, especially against Batenhorst. Their timing was there. The inside arms and hands were touching. Look at this connection. 6 hands perfectly aligned against Batenhorst, and it worked out.
Sophie Ocampo able to anchor that 3 Maverick block. Ariel just punches that one over. Oh, free ball for USC. They take advantage of the mistake by UT Arlington.
It's going to be the little things that set us apart this set right now. Everyone is doing great when it comes to digging, to big kills, but those overpasses for UTA, if you continue with that, USC is going to take this set.
To Aninga's serve, mentioned from Long Beach. She went to the storied high school, Mater Dei. Glenn on the serve receive, wearing that libero top. 19-19, courtesy of Shaki Donkers.
Donkers doing a good job at moving the ball around, and she's not tipping because she's forced to. She's tipping because she sees that option open to score.
Well, UT Arlington has loved to go to their El Paso native, the grad student Alyssa Duran, to serve in big spots. This is a big spot. Mavericks back in the driver's seat, the first to 20.
When Paige Rager is blocking against you, you got to make sure you're covering your hitter. This blocker is 6'6", waiting for you to hit anywhere near her hands.
It's crunch time of set 1. Timeout for USC as we keep it here in Austin.
Look at number 4, Rager's reach. It's like her elbows are going over the net. She's not only tall, but she's also athletic. She has all the dream pieces.
JT Wenger played for one of the 21 men's teams who have won national championships at UCLA. He won the 2000 title back in his playing days. And he and Brad Keller have known each other from a variety of stops, including coaching at the USA level. And a nice response. That's what you want to see out of the Trojans coming out of a timeout from their head coach.
Batenhorst moving the ball around, pulled in towards the middle of the court and decided to move her body, switch it up, and go to that left back corner.
When Brad Keller took a job at UCLA, he literally was moving right into an office that JT Winker had just vacated. All 4 of our head coaches here in Austin for these 4 programs are California kids. And we'll battle at the net. He falls for Donkers. And the Mavericks could be 4 points away from taking a set lead.
Wagner said Donker's physical development has continued to grow. She's getting stronger. Her IQ level with her eyesight's getting better. And she's really putting the ball away.
Blank with the flat-footed serve. Trojans looking to level it at 21. Donkers. Nice dig by Tuininga. From the back row, Gunaiden denied. Trojans back on level footing.
Nice block by Ariel, but the Mavericks have to be frustrated. The coverage looks like it was there. Players going around trying to get that ball up, but nobody going on the floor. You have to give your hitter confidence that you will get that ball up if she's blocked.
Serve from Ariel. As Rager, fortunately, at 6'6", was able to get to that ball. It looked to be just out of her reach, but she found it with her fingertips. But USC still manages to claim a late lead here, 22-21. In first year in the Big Ten for USC. They were preseason picked 7th. They finished 6th in the league, going 13-7 in a conference that placed 9 teams, tied with the SEC for the most in the NCAA tournament this year. Tuininga with the set and put away in play for the kill, and now a 2-point lead for the Trojans, perhaps 2 points away from closing this one out.
Favor Anyao is so much fun to watch because it's like she's not a freshman. She's so intense, she's smart, she puts the ball away from the block, and she has that power behind her hit.
Final time.
Parents and friends tuning in right now.
Well, we mentioned 5 of these players have families here in Texas, including Ariel with the serve out of Plano. 23-21 USC coming out of the timeout from the Mavericks. And a great answer from your player of the year in the WAC, Brianna Ford.
When you can beat a triple threat against USC, that's in system, the timing's there. That just shows you how hard of a hitter you are. Ford does not look scared of that triple block whatsoever.
And the Trojans stay disciplined. This one's tight at the net. That allowed Rager to get to that ball on the block. Little back set right side, poked over by Ford. A touch on the way out. 23 apiece.
You couldn't have asked for a more intense first set here in the first round in Austin. Both teams going back and forth. Little surprise, Batenhorst ended up touching that ball. Probably a good call for the timeout. Calm your team down, reset.
Has some good memories in Louisville. She would love to have her season wrap up in Louisville this year. The site of the national semifinals and final. It is set point for USC.
Always tough missing a serve, much less after a timeout, getting iced right there. UTA needing a 3-option pass right now.
Yeah, that was just their first service error of the entire set against the Trojans.
Really good. Really bad timing, really good only having 1 service error.
Megan Verbees looking to close out the opening set here in Austin against UT Arlington. We are headed to extra points. Of course we are.
JT Wagner said how Gunaiden's leadership has really played such a role for this team, mainly in this situation. It's set point for USC. Normally you might see the nerves come in with a roll, but no, she's going for the hit still.
Samantha Glenn, daughter of a former Super Bowl champion, with the serve. It'll be a short-lived service, and again it's set point, courtesy of the kill from Anyanwu.
And Yahoo is just so strong, and Tuininga setting her that slide. That just shows you how elite this hitter is, already having the footwork, the arm swing, and the timing down, going behind the setter.
So they go back to Gosnell, the grad transfer from Indiana, to try to close this one out. Set point USC in the opening set. And it's the defense that will slam the door shut. We head to set 2 with your 6th seed here in the quadrant, taking the opening frame and extra points.
Classic block by Favor and Yahoo. Again, Land got to make sure things are cleaned up, but their leader, Donkers, doesn't look too worried about it.
USC had an 8-0 run at the start of that first set. Saw that lead completely evaporate. Trailed a couple of times late, but able to come through with that first set. We'll see just how critical that proves to be here this afternoon. Set 2 underway, and again, patrolling that back row is Batenhorst. Able to keep the rally alive in the opening point for her Trojans.
I'm not even sure how Fimwana found that line shot. She cut it so deep that I thought the ball was going out, but she makes it drop right in.
So again, serve for Batenhorst. Glenn. Into the block. It's a 2-0 start for USC after taking that first set.
Donkers was really off the net when she took that approach. She took that jump. She has to know that her passers are there to cover the ball. That means when she's blocked, they will get that second touch for her.
Able to find some fingertips. Certainly manageable for the libero Trubent. And an ideal start now for the women of Troy.
Great connection again with Ariel and Tuaninga. That shows you that they're getting 3 option passes, and that connection is brought in, and especially when there is a split, Ariel punishing the defense at the front for UTA.
Again, if you're joining us late, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, for USC, they are down 2 critical pieces. Jaden Livings, the freshman, out. Another talented freshman, Leah Ford, who is second team all-conference in the Big Ten, was a game-time decision today. Lower body injury appears to be keeping her out, at least here in the first round. Good news, players like Allie Batenhorst available, first team all-Big Ten. Battle at the right antenna. Glenn will keep it alive. Finally returned by Donkers. And able to do just enough to dial up the assist in a 5-0 beginning here for the Trojans.
Ariel jamming the ball right at the block in front of her, and she's doing it on purpose. She's not going for the corners. She sees the block for UTA a little off the net. And
national champions, including AIAW as well as NCAA. They won those back-to-back titles, their last time to taste the titles in 02 and 03. That was right about the time that UT Arlington was making their final appearance in the NCAA tournament before this year. USC looking for another great start here in set 2 after starting 8-1 in the opening frame, and the Mavericks finally take the goose egg off the board.
Donkers getting a desperate kill for the Mavericks. Again, I really like the fact that she's not playing scared up at the front. She's not even going for the middle of the court like she was earlier in the match. She's going for those deep corners.
Serve from Molly Blank. And a free ball there, could not put it away. Rager in the heart of the defense. And the Trojans get away with it, and a moment later able to extend the lead to 6.
UTA has to put those balls down that they get those free opportunities from USC. Example, that overpass. That's not something that happens often from the Trojans. When you get that chance, put the ball away.
JT Wenger, head coach of UT Arlington, said they accomplished basically every goal they had this year. All of the possible peaks have been summited. You can see the body language from the Mavericks. They are not bothered by the scoreline at any given moment. We mentioned their maturity as they find their second point back within 5.
What a hit from Ford. I even thought that she was going cross. Her shoulders were facing the left back of USC, but she completely turned her shoulders, made that right hand go down the line. Totally took USC off their feet.
See if the Mavericks can string some points together here. Shaki Donkers with the serve. Struggled on the serve receive from Batenhorst, still able to recover as the block goes wide for the air.
Momentum just completely in the Trojans' court right now. UTA really struggling to find not only a run to go on, but that spark they were able to find early in that first set.
We love talking to all the head coaches. When Brad Keller talked about Megan Verbeest, who's back to serve right now, he said, if you don't like her, you are a bad human. There is no bad bone in the junior's body.
He's not blunt at all.
One more to get it over. The back row attack from Batenhorst, able to find Glenn on its way out. 9-2 Trojans.
When you're up against a hitter like Batenhorst, she's going to get hers. You have to make sure that you are stopped in base, platform out. But this hit is why it's so important for UTA to get USC out of system.
And an ace for the first time today for either team. Well, we mentioned both teams not struggling with any service errors. Just 2 in that first set for USC, 1 for UTA. And there's our first ace, courtesy of Verbeest. Again, going to the back row, but into the net.
Donkers is a player that stays aggressive, but when you're connected a little bit off like that, the set's coming from over your shoulder, it's a little low, just keep it in play at that point.
The Manhattan Beach native continues with her serve, up by 9. Finally, some open real estate as it'll land for the Mavericks.
Brianna Ford again with the kill at that deep right back corner. Dropping her pinky, lifting the thumb, making sure that ball completely turns and has some spin on it to drop.
She's all everything in the WAC conference each year, it seems like, and yet she's still looking for ways to improve. As Glenn just can't keep that one in.
Famwina punishing the block of UTA, and Arlington trying to slow that ball down. You don't have to block every ball, but when you get that touch, it slows it down. You hope that your libero and back row can get it up.
The right side will get a quick respite. Again, Gosnell with the serve. A little disappointed Gosnell wasn't singing the anthem before this opening round matchup. That's something she was known to do when she was at Indiana, and I believe once this year at USC. And just miscalculated. I don't know if gravity quit for a moment there, but that ball hung up there, and Ford could not send it back over.
I think Ford's shoe got stuck in her approach, and yeah, you can see her wiping it right there. That definitely happens here and there, but I like the fact that she looked across the net to Batenhorst, made sure she was okay. You don't want to ever cross over ankles under the net.
So serve continues for Gosnell, a double-digit lead for USC. And into the double block. Glenn keeps the rally alive, but a quick up and down answer from USC.
Batenhorst, again, moving the ball around. She's having a really strong arm swing right now, and she's not reverting to tips or rolls. And even when she goes off the hands of UTA, she still finds a way to score.
JT Wenger all out of timeouts, burns his second one here. After a sluggish start against USC. Again, USC patrolling that net. Won't officially dub it a block party just yet, but they've got a lot of talent.
6 blocks for USC so far. They are so good at getting that triple block going. They have the patience and the connection. And even when there's only an ISO block right there, you can see how patient Famwina and her other blockers are. And when they have a triple block, and not just blocking from the middle, so they're running slides right now, and that comes from that connection with Tuminga. And that's a lot of reps in the gym, a lot of footwork, basics.
So UT Arlington uses their final timeout of set number 2. It was 26-24 in the opening set for USC in a back and forth battle. It's been all Trojans here, including the error on UT Arlington.
When you play so well in the first set like UTA did and still lose, it's hard to come back with that same energy, momentum in the second set. USC right now just taking off.
As Gosnell continues with her service consistent behind that line. Some options, and that one, they'll get a touch on the way out. Point for the Mavericks.
Brianna Ford not even expecting that touch herself, but she's taking it, and now when she's at the service line, that opens her up for a back row attack option as well.
Ford with a match high 8 kills, tied with USC's Famwina, and just the second service error of the match.
Pretty clean at the service line right now. When you only have 1 service error each set at this point, your coach is going to be completely fine with that.
So again, the libero with the serve here, Trubent. She's really evolved during her 3 years at USC. Has the dig. And a nice touch, measuring that one up by Batenhorst.
Looked like there was a stutter step from Donkers at the middle back going for that middle ball. Didn't know if it was going to land or not, but in stutter steps, you got to make sure that once you commit, you're going. You're not pulling back at all.
Well, this would be a dream second set for USC if they can close it out after that struggle in the first one. The let serve over for Trubent. And another block from Batenhorst this time.
Perfect form from Batenhorst, literally doing a crunch in the air, putting her head down on her chest, shoulders reaching as high as she can, a perfect wall.
Gala Trubent, Brad Keller says, is often the paternal voice of this team for USC. Right now taking matters into her own hands at the service line.
Deep float by Trubent, and when you have a server who serves as hard as she does, you don't need that 3-option pass. Give your setter a 2-option pass 10 feet off the net. There you go, that 2-option pass off the net.
Over from the left side, slapped over by Evan Snook. Batenhorst. And right in the heart of the defense from Sophie Ocampo. She's been a pin hitter her whole career until the third week of this season. Slid to the middle for an injured teammate. It's been right at home.
I cannot imagine being a pin hitter and then moving into the middle. When you're in college, that is a huge expectation to have, because when you're jumping, you are having to jump straight up. You're blocking a lot more. It's completely different than the pins.
All right, let's see if the Mavericks can use that and go on a little run here. The answer is no. Ariel again. Her 7th kill.
Ariel's gonna score, and she doesn't really care how it looks. Yes, she has those big power swings, but if you are gonna block her off the net, she's gonna go for that tip and punish you and get the kill doing it.
Tuaninga, an ace, and you're almost ready to insist that would be an ace the moment you saw her approach. Aggressive serve.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Thinking it's an ace when you see the approach. And this throw, she's almost throwing it on the court without avoiding the foot fault. She's forced to chase it and jump into the court as much as she can.
I mean, she's lucky Texas doesn't hang its national championship banners on that side. And she gets the assist as well. 22-5 Trojans.
It's not all about aces from the service line. First things first, you want to get your opponent out of system. Tuaninga serve, getting the ace and out of system.
In a rhythm, just long. Just the 4th service error of the match for USC. That'll snap a little 3-0 run to inch them closer to a 2-0 advantage.
You look away from this set and look back at the score, and you won't believe how fast USC's gotten ahead. Just completely shutting down UTA the second set.
Duran with the serve. Batenhorst back on the front row, back in the scorebook.
USC.
Batenhorst down for the kill, rotates to the back. We'll have her serves. See if she can put the punctuation on this one. Out the left side from Jaylee Tritt. Hit off the antenna. Point for UTA.
It's going to be really hard for UTA to come back the second set. What you need to focus on is getting in a rhythm, gaining momentum, going on a run that's going to bleed for you into the third set.
Blank with a safe serve. And that left arm whip, so naturally married to that right side, Madison Peach.
Peach is such a strong lefty, and she is so smooth with her approach, her swing, it's effortless.
A complete player, according to Brad Keller, has no bad days, does all the small things. And it is set point for USC in set number 2. Paisley Douglas, the freshman out of Omaha, Nebraska, to try to close this one out from the service line. The quiet assassin. And a left serve ace. Trojans can close this one out in 3 here in Austin.
Trojans taking all the momentum in this second set, keeping UTA to single digit in this second set. Their offense, their defense, their
limited experience, but came in a big spot against Cal Baptist, proved her worth. From the back row, Batenhorst. You can be in the right spot, ready to go, but Batenhorst still finds the hardwood at the feet of Donkers.
Batenhorst hitting so hard, she's not even going for the corners. She is going right for middle back, and she sees that block has no chance in closing against her.
There's a chance tomorrow, if things play out with the higher seedings move on, you'd have Batenhorst on the back row, Skinner on the back row. Two of the best. Into that triple block, still playable for the Mavericks. They go right back to Tritt, who gets it over. And just enough from Anyanwu to get the kill.
Good decision by Tuaninga to go to Anyanwu. She saw Batenhorst in coverage, scrambling, and really her only option was a middle or tip. I really like that decision making and knowing what's available to her.
And Gosnell, her first year with USC, after getting her diploma from Indiana. Good adjustment by Brianna Ford. No adjusting there.
Batenhorst is that 6 rotation player. When she's at the front row, you just got to get past those rotations. She is going to get her kills. The best you can do is be stopped, committed to your platform, your base, and stick your arms out and not shank it when touch happens.
USC is hitting 485 as a team this match. They're hitting 571 this set, a set where they can close it out for the sweep.
Nice dig.
Back to Batenhorst. Lack of originality, and that's okay. They keep going to number 14, the first team all Big Ten standout at the pin.
It does not get any better than this dig from Trubin on the ground, but the ball goes right in the hands of Tuaninga. The effort is there defensively and the preciseness. It's perfectly to target.
Again, a match high 12 kills for Allie Batenhorst. Her first postseason with USC after some national runner-up finishes with Nebraska. Has 7 digs as well to her name. We mentioned 6 rotations these days for Batenhorst. Right on cue, but this time into the block, in part anchored by Sophia Ocampo.
Perfect set block by UTA, and that was a great try by Trubin. USC libero getting there for coverage, making contact, but not able to get it up. The effort was there.
We mentioned UT Arlington faced elimination point in the 4th set of the semifinal against Cal Baptist, would come back, win in 5. Faced elimination in a 5th set in the final, came back. This would be a mountain to climb. They've got nowhere else to go. Might as well stick around in Austin as long as they can. Right now, a 7-point discrepancy, though, against USC, who wants a quick outing before resting up and watching tonight's match between Texas and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And they read the dump. Denied by Ariel.
Ariel seems to be doing everything right when it comes to reading the block, deciding where to put the overpass, and then also communicating with her setter. She is being very clutch for the Trojans. Eight kills and 0 errors. Yeah, it doesn't get more clutch than that.
Glenn on the serve receive. Swing, looking for space, able to find it right in front of the line judge. The kill from Jaylee Tritt.
Tritt hitting that ball almost like a float serve, not much spin on it, kind of going forward as if she's jamming it. I thought that ball was honestly going to go out, but it landed right in the corner perfectly for her.
She'll rotate off. Jansu Gunaiden in to serve. Again, former Rutgers Scarlet Knight, former UTSA Roadrunner. Mentioned both parents played pro from Istanbul, Turkey. And a service there. 13-5 Trojans. Some fans already making their way into the gym, anticipating 3-seed Texas. 40 consecutive sellouts here at Gregory Gym for the home team. Batenhorst. As Ocampo able to do enough to get it back over. Trojans up by 8 here in a closeout, set 3. From the back row, the swing from Ford.
Ford timing this approach perfectly. She makes sure her feet are behind that 10-foot line, not able to take up enough space on the approach, but still is very conscious of where to move that ball around while keeping an eye on the block in front of her.
She's one of 5 grad students on this roster for UT Arlington who didn't know if they put the uniform on for the first time today or if they'll get to suit up again tomorrow. A free ball that USC keeps playable somehow, but unable to get it back over.
Communication error you will probably not see again from USC, and you see all 6 of them go to the huddle because they are not about to let Brad Keller tell them again, you cannot do that.
Koninga punched over by Peach. And hard to match up again with the 6'6" Rager right down the middle.
Blank shooting that 3 out to Rager and giving USC 0 time to get any sort of block up. Very fast in tempo play.
Just off your screen, Brad Keller gave the universal signal of just calm down and breathe. Ariel, the error sends it wide. Mavericks looking to rekindle that magic from the first set. They have pulled back within 4. Timeout, Trojans.
But the conference tournament's completely different. If you don't win the tournament, you're not going to the tournament. The conference tournament, that is, you're not going to this tournament.
But here are the Mavericks making that trek down to Austin. They're going to try to stick around a little bit longer. Down 2-0. Batenhorst on the right side, and no recovering there.
Molly Blank trying to stay in the play, but too out of system for UTA to handle from USC right now. USC's trying to take off on another run from the service line, led by Batenhorst, who's another threat at the back row.
That ends a 4-0 run for UT Arlington. At the left side, well drawn up with the error from Donkers. And now for the first time, we'll see JT Wenger use one of his challenges.
UTA is challenging the ball. The blockers were in the net. The original call was out.
And one of my favorite parts of this season is the addition to the mic.
Yep.
Learning what the challenge is in real time. There's no guessing right now. It's so much better for us.
There is a net on USC.
Both coaches have been successful. You heard the reversal. There was a net violation. That's our veteran official April Fricky here today. Charlie Tamez is our up official. So Mavericks back within 4. Mentioned they've had the advantage of their band, their Spirit Squad, and their diehard fans making their way to Austin. As the news is being explained to Brad Keller, here's what they saw on the replay. I don't see it, but we may have started a little too late. It was a very quick review, so clearly they had a good angle. And that left arm swing just long from Peach.
Peach trying to force it down that line, which is really a good idea, especially when you're a lefty. But she's really overcompensating when it comes to turning the shoulders. Just a little adjustment, that ball's gonna fall in. Great coverage.
Big block from Rager, but the point's still alive. This time it's Glenn who sets. She'll get the assist. And we're seeing a few more people who don't have setter on their job description this year, more comfortable setting up those kills.
Well, libero is always the one that takes the second ball. And when coaches recruit, especially at the D1 level, liberos, they're looking to see, can this libero set the ball in a good window?
She had the pass there, of course. We mentioned her dad, the former great receiver at Ohio State, and Terry Glenn, Super Bowl champion with New England Patriots and then later with the Dallas Cowboys. The reason why she wears 83 is for her dad.
Glenn with back-to-back assists. You saw a little spin on that second ball, but this season it's okay. You are allowed to double the ball as long as it stays on your side. If you double across the net, then you'll call.
That ball's not coming back. Wow. 14-14 all of a sudden after another slow start for UT Arlington in this set. They've already doubled their point total from last set when they fell 25-7. Batenhorst, too hot to handle.
But good job, though. Glenn actually getting contact on that back row attack from Batenhorst, and that's all you can do. Get your body on the ground. Try and find that ball. Batenhorst is going to get some kills from behind the line.
Yeah, Samantha Glenn went flying for that ball. A great effort, but it's USC who inches back ahead. Ariel with the serve. Over the left side. Brianna Ford still playing volleyball for the Mavericks here in 2024.
This rip by Ford has to be the hardest hit of the day from UTA. Look how low this ball is at. Ford literally sprinting into the court and dropping her pinky, making this ball spin, looking like a top spin serve.
She's in the top 15 in the country in points per set. About 5.25 points per set for Brianna Ford. Into the net, Mavericks have a lead.
Famwina going for that really tight cut shot, which happens and is okay if your set is even tighter. So when you're a little bit off the net, you got to make sure your ball's going deeper when you hit it.
And just sails wide. And a serve from Donkers, 16 apiece.
What a comeback in this third set by UTA. They were in such a deficit against USC, and Trojans were really close to being first at that red zone, which is first to 20.
All right, let's see if Megan Verbees can put together another trademark run from the service line. That'll help. Anyanwu again, the freshman middle blocker from Rowlett, Texas, from Saxe High School in East Texas, on your way from here to Houston.
Anyawe giving UTA a message without having to say a word. ISO block. There is no way that ball was crossing the plane. She was timed perfectly.
Into the block. It is in for the Trojans, though.
This is perfect form from Famwina. She makes sure that her neck is down in her chest. Her hands are pointed right side of your screen. Look where her hands are. She makes sure that she's doing a crunch in the air, shoves her arms to the middle of the court. That's how you avoid being tooled.
And it'll be UT Arlington calling this timeout with their season on the line and a must-win. Set number 3, trailing 2-0.
Where they go, they are mobbed by people. Even after the match, there's hundreds of people waiting for them. There's always a sold-out crowd for them.
In Texas, a 5-time national champion. USC, a 6-time national champion, but have not reached the promised land since they won back-to-back in 02 and 03. Mavericks back within 1, and the serve will belong to Evan Snook. It's from the Houston area out of Magnolia. They've really leaned on her a lot these past month and a half, past 6 weeks. Went from just being a serving sub to also a pin hitter. The Trojans will get this one.
I really like seeing how excited the teammates get for Tuaninga. Anything she does, especially when it's an offensive hit or getting a touch on a block.
Well, again, she and Famwina really set the vibes, whether it be on the bus, the team flight, or when they simply walk into an opponent's gym. They set the tone. It's usually their playlist that prevails over the recommendations of the coaches. Back within 1. Here come the Mavericks. Trailing 2-0.
Tritt's that player that JT Wagner says will step on the court and completely light it up, but you can see why he says that. She's bringing power, shot selection, and she's not afraid of that block in front of her.
Batenhorst. Just enough on that one. USC avoids any violation there. This kept playable by Batenhorst. As Gosnell finally sent it back over. Off some fingertips, there's Gosnell on the back row. Little slide to the right pin from Anyanwu. Good recovery and a great rally unfolding here late in set number 3. Glenn. A little short connection there to Ocampo. Battle at the net, Tuaninga.
Tuaninga, the 5'9" setter at the front row for USC, finally putting the ball away. And
longest winning streaks. The Mavericks have won 20 straight since losing for the last time in September against Rice back on September 20th. 21-18.
USC having all the energy from the bench to the court, everyone having fun, and that's why these players even started to play. Is this confidence right here?
The service really picking up for USC now. 7 aces, that one from Trubant. And she'll give it right back. Just the 4th service error of the match for the Trojans.
This is one of the best matches I've seen from both sides when it comes to serving. Such clean serves. The misses are going really deep. They're purposeful.
5 different Trojans with aces in this match. Serve belongs to Gunaiden.
And only 1 serve for UTA, 7 for USC. Ace, that is.
Mavericks cannot afford just to trade points here. See if they can string some together. That'll help. They're back within 1.
Great offense by the Mavericks, but I'm crediting Brianna Ford, the MVP of that play, keeping the ball alive with the one-arm dig and getting it straight up, avoiding the shank.
Jansu continues. And a nice job by Verbees, knowing exactly where she was on that back row.
UTA making it to the red zone as well in this 3rd set, which is again in a 20-point area in volleyball, but that's when it's even more important to play as clean as you can.
And Tuaninga close this out in 3. Well, they had to go with that attack from the back row, and that made it even easier for Tyra Ariel to get camped out for that big block. You see her numbers. So valuable both in the attack and on defense. Little slide, little English on that ball. Gets the job done to send it back over. Glenn. Donkers. Able to find space on the back row.
All-out effort from the Mavericks, starting with that dig from Glenn, keeping it in play and allowing her setter to move the ball wherever she wanted to the offensive threat, and eventually the outside beating the triple block.
Trailing USC by 2, down 2 sets. One more. Able to get it back over from Blank. Ariel. Good composure by the Mavericks. Batenhorst. It's match point for USC here in round 1 in Alston.
Great hustle by UTA, but when you give USC a free ball, you gotta know this ball is coming straight down, especially when you see Tuaninga setting Batenhorst on the right side.
They exited last year in the 2nd round, looking to punch their ticket to the 2nd round here. Left side, and the season for UT Arlington continues for another point. It is still match point here, and pardon me, it's overruled. That's your ball game.
USC finishing, hitting 351. UTA put up such a fight in that 1st set.